Welcome back to Coins Dealer, the best place for coin lovers and treasure hunters alike. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an opportunity to strike gold with your spare change. Let's rewind back to 1967. America was deep into the space race, the Beatles were topping the charts, and a small, simple coin was being minted, the Washington quarter. Now, 1967 was a very special year for U.S. coin production. Due to the coin shortage of the early 1960s, the U.S. Mint decided not to put mint marks on coins from 1965 through 1967. That's why the 1967 quarter doesn't have a P, D, or S. It's completely blank where the mint mark would normally be. But here's the thing, even though millions were produced, only a few have the rare combination of flawless condition, mint errors, and unique features that can turn an ordinary coin into a $1.8 million treasure. So, what exactly makes the 1967 quarter worth so much money? Some 1967 quarters were struck on silver planchets. That's right, even though the US switched to clad coins in 1965, a few leftover silver blanks made their way into 1967 production. Finding one of these silver era quarters is like finding a needle in a haystack. Coins graded MS68 or higher by PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, are extremely rare. Surface perfection, sharp details, and brilliant luster are a must for million-dollar valuations. Being part of a key transitional period in U.S. Mint history makes this quarter historically significant. Collectors love that. Serious collectors and investors are willing to pay top dollar for rare coins, especially one-of-a-kind finds like the high-grade 1967 no-mint mark quarters. Alright, so how do you know if your 1967 quarter could be worth millions? A regular 1967 clad quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. A silver quarter would be closer to 6.25 grams. Get a precise digital scale, it could be your best investment ever. Look for a bright, mirror-like finish, strong details on Washington's hair, and sharp lines on the eagle's feathers. Check for off-center strikes, double dies, or planchet errors. These mistakes make your coin even more valuable. Professional grading is key. Send your coin to a trusted service like PCGS or NGC to verify its authenticity and condition. Let me tell you about one incredible find. In 2023, a collector sorting through inherited coins stumbled upon a 1967 Washington quarter. It looked different, extra shiny, heavier than normal. They sent it in for grading, and boom, MS68 on a silver planchet with a mint error. Guess what? It later auctioned for a mind-blowing $1.8 million at a major coin auction. Money mouth face 1 quarter, life changed forever. If you're wondering where to look, here's how to get started. Grandparents' collections are gold mines. Many people have no idea they're selling valuable coins. Even slight differences can mean big money. Invest in a good magnifier and digital scale. These simple tools can save you from overlooking a fortune. Imagine turning 25 cents into $1.8 million. That's the magic of coin collecting. Sparkles. Make sure to hit that like button if you learned something new today. Subscribe to your channel name for more rare coin discoveries. And hey, if you find a 1967 quarter you think could be valuable, comment below and let's celebrate together. We're diving deep into a coin that could literally make you a millionaire overnight. The 1979 D Washington quarter that's been valued at a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. One little quarter could change your life forever. Stick around because I'm going to show you exactly what to look for, why it's so rare, and how you might already have one sitting in your collection. Let's start with a little background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, honoring the 200th birthday of George Washington. By 1979, the U.S. Mint in Denver, marked by a small D mint mark, was pumping out millions of these coins for everyday use. Over 489 million quarters were made in Denver that year. So what makes this particular 1979 D quarter so insanely valuable? Thinky face. Normally, coins are struck with precise standards, but mistakes happen. And when they do, They can create legendary coins, the kind collectors are willing to pay millions for, and the 1979 D Washington quarter has a specific variety and condition that makes it extremely rare and incredibly valuable. Alright, here's the big secret. It's all about errors, varieties, and condition. The $1.5 million quarter is known to have a major double die error. This means parts of the design, like Washington's face, the words Liberty, and In God We Trust, appear doubled. Under a magnifying glass or microscope, you can actually see the double lines clearly. The second big factor is condition. This coin must be in almost perfect, mint state condition, graded MS68 Plus or MS69 by professional graders like PCGS or NGC. That means virtually no scratches, bag marks, or signs of circulation. Out of hundreds of millions minted, only a handful survived in this flawless condition. Now, finding a 1979 D quarter with a major double die and in perfect mint condition? That's like finding a needle in a haystack, underwater, blindfolded. That's why the value skyrockets to over $1.5 million. Okay, now, the part you've been waiting for. How can you spot a 1979 D quarter that's worth millions? Check for the D mint mark. It will be located just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Use a magnifying glass. Look closely at the lettering, especially Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date 1979. Are the letters slightly doubled? That's what you want to see. Check Washington's profile. The nose, lips, chin, and neck may show signs of doubling too. Look at the overall condition. If it looks brand new with no scratches, your heart should start racing. And if you think you've found one, stop. Don't clean the coin. Cleaning it could destroy its value. Instead, submit it to a professional grading service. Now, let's say you're lucky enough to have found one. Where can you sell it? Dollar banknote. You can go to reputable auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Legend Rare Coin Auctions. Dollar banknote. You can also list it privately, but always involve a certified appraiser to confirm the value. And remember, even if your quarter isn't the $1 million variety, some 1979 D quarters in high mint states can still fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Not bad for 25 cents, right? Alright, treasure hunters, that's a wrap for today's video. If you learned something new or you're going to start checking your spare change, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a chance to find a fortune hiding in your pocket. 1983 P Washington quarter, a coin that shocked the world by being valued at a jaw-dropping $1.70 million. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. You don't want to miss the coins that could change your life. Imagine walking around with a $1.7 million coin in your pocket and not even knowing it. That's exactly what could happen if you have the rare 1983 P quarter. But what makes this coin so valuable? Let's dive in, and you'll want to check your change after this. The year 1983 was a tough one for coins. Due to a coin shortage, the US Mint was producing quarters like crazy. But here's the key: in 1983, there were no official mint sets released to the public. That means very few high-quality 1983 quarters were ever saved. Most coins went straight into circulation, getting scratched, dinged, and worn. That alone makes finding a pristine 1983 P quarter incredibly rare. But wait, there's more. Now, one thing collectors go crazy over is mint errors, and the 1983 P quarter has some of the most famous ones. We're talking about double die strikes, where the image appears doubled. We're talking about OFF center strikes, giving the coin a dramatic, rare appearance. But the Holy Grail, a 1983 P quarter in nearly perfect condition, a high-grade MS68 or higher, and featuring a known mint error. Such coins are so rare that when one appears at auction, collectors go to war over it. One such pristine 1983 P quarter with a major error sold for a record-smashing $1.7 million. Alright, you're probably wondering, how can I tell if I have the $1 million quarter? Look right next to Washington's ponytail. You must see a P. Most circulated coins will be worn. A valuable one is shiny and detailed. Check for doubling, especially around the words In God We Trust and Liberty. Grading matters. Coins graded MS-67, MS-68, or higher are where the big money is. Some error coins weigh differently due to striking problems. A precise coin scale can help. If your 1983 P quarter matches these, you could be sitting on a gold mine. Found a potential winner? Here's what you do next. Don't clean it, never clean the coin, it destroys the value. Use gloves if possible. Oils from your hands can damage it. Send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Once graded, major auction houses can sell it for top dollar. Remember, coins like this can attract bidding wars. That's why that 1983 P quarter hit $1.7 million. Folks, millions of coins pass through our hands in a lifetime, and sometimes it just takes one coin to change everything. Check your change, look through old jars, ask your family if they have old quarters. That one special coin could be your ticket to becoming a millionaire. If you found today's video helpful, smash that like button, share this video with friends and family. You might just help someone strike it rich, and don't forget to subscribe for more coin secrets that can change your life. 1986 P Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin. Yep, you heard that right. This coin could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. You might be thinking, how could a coin from the 1980s be worth that much? Well, buckle up, because we're diving deep into the story behind this rare gem, and I'll show you what makes it so special. Let's start with the basics. The 1986 Washington quarter was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, and it has the standard 25-cent value. But like many rare coins, it's not the face value that determines its worth, it's the rarity and unique features that make a coin valuable to collectors. Now, the 1986 P Washington quarter looks just like any other quarter in circulation with the iconic portrait of George Washington on the front. But here's the kicker, it's a specific era coin, and this era is what makes it so incredibly valuable. Look right here at the mint mark. It has the P Mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. But what sets it apart is a mistake made during its production, a rare and unintentional error that was overlooked by many collectors and experts for years. So, what makes this quarter so special? It all comes down to a rare error that makes it stand out from other 1986 P quarters. This coin is known as the clash die error. Essentially, a clash die occurs when the dies used to strike the coin come into contact with each other, leaving behind an unintended imprint on the coin's surface. In the case of the 1986 P Washington quarter, the clash caused the reverse side to show a faint image of George Washington's profile. This error was so subtle that many people didn't even notice it at first, but over time, collectors began to spot these coins and realize just how rare they were. The fact that these errors were limited in number is what gives the 1986 P Washington quarter its astronomical value. You can clearly see that the reverse of this coin looks like it has a ghostly image of Washington's face, which is a key characteristic of the clash die error. This is not something that you'll find in a regular quarter. In fact, this is one of those mistakes that collectors dream about, a coin with a significant and rare error that instantly boosts its desirability and value. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. How much is this coin really worth? The 1986 P Washington quarter with the clash die error can be worth up to $1.5 million in the right condition. That's right, a quarter that you might find in your collection could be worth that much if it has this rare error. Of course, the coin's condition plays a massive role in determining its exact value. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. Coins in pristine condition, those with little to no wear, scratches, or blemishes, will fetch a much higher price than coins that are more worn down. In fact, coins with mint grades like MS-67 or higher are the ones that can potentially sell for over $1 million. Alright, now that we know the value, let's talk about how you can identify this rare coin. So, how do you know if you have a 1986 P Washington quarter with the clash die error? First, check for the P Mint mark. Remember, this coin was minted in Philadelphia. If you don't see the P, you know you don't have the coin we're talking about. Next, flip the coin over and take a close look at the reverse. You're looking for any sign of a faint profile of George Washington's face. If you spot something unusual or ghostly, then you might just have the error coin. If you're not sure, I highly recommend getting your coin professionally graded. Grading services like PCGS and NGC are trusted in the industry and can verify whether your coin is the real deal. Grading is essential because a coin's value can change dramatically based on its grade. Coins with higher grades can be worth significantly more than those with lower grades. So, you've got your hands on this rare 1986p Washington quarter with a clash die error. What now? Where can you sell it for top dollar? First, make sure your coin is authenticated and graded by a reputable service. After that, there are a few options for selling. You can try online auction sites like eBay, where rare coins often fetch high prices from collectors worldwide. Just make sure to take great photos and write an accurate description. You could also contact coin dealers or attend a coin show. Many dealers specialize in rare and valuable error coins, and they might be willing to make an offer for your 1986p Washington quarter. Finally, if you want to get the highest possible price, consider working with an auction house that specializes in rare coin auctions. These houses have connections with serious collectors, and you could get competitive bids for your coin. And there you have it, everything you need to know about the 1986p Washington quarter dollar coin and why it could be worth up to $1.5 million. If you're lucky enough to have one of these error coins, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Remember, always be on the lookout for those rare and unique coins, and don't forget to get them professionally graded before you think about selling. Who knows? You might just find your next $1 million coin. 1987D Washington quarter dollar. Now you might be wondering, what makes this coin so special, and why is it worth up to $1.8 million? Well, stay tuned, because we're going to break down the details of this extraordinary coin and how you can tell if you have one of these rare gems in your pocket. Let's start with a quick refresher on the Washington quarter itself. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It's one of the most recognizable coins in U.S. history, featuring the profile of George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse, surrounded by the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum. The 1987D Washington quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the D Mint mark on the reverse of the coin. It's part of a series of quarters that were issued as part of the ongoing coinage program by the U.S. Mint, but there's something about this particular year and mint mark that has piqued the interest of collectors and investors alike. On the surface, the 1987D quarter might seem like just another coin from the late 20th century. But there's something remarkable about certain specimens that sets them apart. It's not about a simple design flaw or error that you can spot easily with the naked eye. No, the real value comes from a specific, rare combination of factors. So, what makes the 1987D worth $1.8 million? Well, this specific coin is known for having an ultra-low mintage in terms of its condition and rarity. Most 1987D quarters were minted in large quantities, and as a result, they're not typically worth much over face value. However, some of these coins were struck in such a way that they've achieved an exceptional grade, a grade that collectors look for when determining a coin's value. Now, here's where things get interesting. You might have a 1987D Washington quarter in your collection right now, but how do you know if it's worth the big bucks? The key lies in its grade. The highest quality specimens of the 1987D are graded as MS 69 or higher. MS stands for mint state, and the 69 rating indicates a coin that is nearly flawless, almost perfect in every way. To achieve this grade, the coin must have no more than a couple of microscopic imperfections, visible only under high magnification. We're talking about tiny marks, scratches, or contact points that might occur during the minting process, but even the slightest imperfections can knock the value down significantly. A coin with an MS 69 or higher grade has been carefully preserved over the years, and it's in nearly the same condition as when it was first struck. If you find yourself with a 1987D Washington quarter in this grade, you could have a coin worth a significant amount of money, in some cases, as much as $1.8 million. Before you get too excited, there's something you need to know. For a coin to fetch top dollar at auction, it must be certified by a professional grading service, like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These organizations use strict criteria to determine the quality of a coin and assign it a grade. Without certification, it's hard to prove the authenticity and value of the coin. So, if you have a 1987 D Washington quarter that you suspect could be worth a fortune, your next step should be to have it professionally graded. This can be an investment in itself, but it's the only way to unlock the full potential value of your coin. Let's talk about the market for the 1987 D Washington quarter and its history at auction. In recent years, a number of these coins have been sold for astronomical prices, often exceeding $1 million. At one particularly high-profile auction, a flawless 1987 D quarter was sold for an incredible $1.8 million. This rare find was in pristine condition, and collectors were eager to get their hands on it. The 1987 D quarter isn't just a great coin for collectors, it's a great investment piece. The value of rare coins like these has been steadily increasing as collectors, investors, and even museums continue to seek out the most pristine specimens. Now that you know how valuable your 1987 D Washington quarter could be, it's time to talk about how to protect it. Proper storage is essential to preserving the value of your coin. Keep your coin in a protective holder, a clear plastic capsule or a slab, and avoid touching the coin with your bare hands. Oils and dirt from your skin can leave marks that can reduce the coin's value. If you have your coin graded, it will likely be sealed in a protective case, which offers a level of protection against wear and tear. Always store your valuable coins in a cool, dry place, away from sunlight, humidity, and extreme temperatures. These factors can damage the coin over time, reducing its value. So, to recap, the 1987 D Washington quarter dollar can be worth up to $1.8 million if it's in pristine condition and graded at MS69 or higher. While the regular 1987 D quarters aren't worth much more than face value, certain well-preserved, flawless examples are highly sought after by collectors and investors. Before you rush out to check your coin jar or collection, remember that the key to unlocking that $1.8 million is the coin's grade and condition. And always have your coins professionally graded and certified to ensure you're getting the full value. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Who knows? The next coin we talk about could be worth millions of dollars, and it could be sitting right in your collection. 1990 D Washington quarter dollar. Now, before you start scouring your wallet or your coin jar, let's break down what makes this coin so valuable, what to look for, and how you could be sitting on a gold mine without even realizing it. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1990 D Washington quarter dollar is part of a long-running series of quarters that were first introduced in 1932. These coins feature the image of George Washington on the obverse, designed by John Flanagan, and the reverse showcases an eagle perched on a bundle of arrows, which symbolizes the United States' strength. The D Mint mark on this coin stands for the Denver Mint, where these quarters were struck. But here's the kicker: the value of the 1990 D quarter isn't just about the design, it's all about rarity and condition. Now, most people would look at a 1990 D Washington quarter and assume it's just another coin from the late 20th century. After all, the United States minted over 500 million of them. So, how can it possibly be worth a fortune? The thing is, most of these quarters are common, and unless they're in mint condition or have certain rare attributes, they don't fetch much. But there's one critical factor that can send the value of the 1990 D Washington quarter skyrocketing: error coins. Some of the 1990 D quarters were struck with misalignments, double strikes, or even off-center minting, which makes them highly sought after by collectors. These errors can be extremely rare, and when they surface, their value can be exponentially higher than a typical quarter. Let's talk about one such example, a 1990 D quarter with a double die obverse error. These errors are not easy to spot, but when you do find one, you could be looking at a coin worth upwards of $1.5 million. So, what makes a coin like this so rare? Let's break it down. The 1990 Washington quarter, as we mentioned, was produced in massive quantities, which makes the standard version relatively common. But when you factor in the minting errors, those become an anomaly. There were only a few mistakes that were made during production, and they didn't leave the mint in large numbers. Collectors refer to these types of coins as error coins, and they're highly desirable because of their uniqueness. A double die error, for instance, occurs when a coin is struck twice by the die during the minting process. The result is a coin with doubled images, sometimes subtle, sometimes glaring, and that's what makes these error coins so valuable. Even slight misprints or off-center strikes make the coin unique, and that's why the value can reach into the millions. This is exactly why you need to closely inspect your quarters, especially ones from the 1990s. So, how do you know if you've got a valuable 1990 quarter on your hands? The first thing you'll want to do is closely inspect the coin for any signs of error. Look at the coin's date and mint mark. Check the quality of the strike. Is there any doubling? Is there an extra layer of detail in Washington's hair or the lettering? Pay close attention to the details around the eagle and the arrows on the reverse side of the coin. Any abnormalities could mean you've found something special. Also, check the alignment of the coin. If the obverse and reverse don't line up properly, it's a sign of an off-center strike, another valuable error. These errors are often very subtle, so take your time inspecting the coin under good lighting or with a magnifying glass. Now, let's talk about the big question. How much could a 1990 quarter be worth if it's in mint condition or has an error? A regular 1990 quarter without any errors typically isn't worth much more than face value. However, if you find one with a notable error, like the double die obverse or an off-center strike, you could be looking at a small fortune. In fact, some of these coins have been sold for over $1.5 million at auction, depending on the rarity of the error and the condition of the coin. Coin collectors will pay top dollar for these unique pieces because they're one of a kind. The value of the coin also depends on demand, which can fluctuate. However, the rarity and the historical significance of the Washington quarter make it a prime candidate for high-end collectors looking to add to their portfolio. So, let's say you've discovered that your 1990 quarter is worth a small fortune. Where can you sell it? There are a few options for you. You can take it to a reputable coin dealer who specializes in rare coins, or you can try selling it at an auction house, where collectors from all over the world can bid on it. Some online marketplaces also offer platforms for selling rare coins, but remember to do your research and ensure the platform is trustworthy. Always get a professional coin appraisal before making any sales. Well, there you have it. The 1990 Washington quarter dollar isn't just a piece of pocket change, it could be worth millions if you find the right error. So, keep an eye out for those hidden treasures in your collection, and who knows, you could be sitting on a fortune. 1993 Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar coin, a coin that could be sitting right in your pocket or in your collection right now, worth an astonishing $1.7 million. Yep, you heard that right. This seemingly ordinary quarter could make you rich. Let's find out why. Before we get into the jaw-dropping value of the 1993 Washington quarter, let's take a look at the coin itself. The Washington quarter, which was first issued in 1932, is one of the most iconic coins in American history. But the 1993 version is special because of its minting process and some rare characteristics that make certain versions incredibly valuable. The obverse features George Washington's profile, designed by John Flanagan. The reverse, depicting an eagle, was designed by the U.S. Mint's chief engraver, John R. Sinek. The 1993 Mint mark refers to quarters struck at the Denver Mint, which is located in Denver, Colorado. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The 1993 Washington quarter is worth a lot more than you might think. Most of these coins are only worth face value, around 25 cents, but there are rare exceptions. The key to the incredible value of this particular quarter lies in its unique minting error. Some 1993 quarters were struck with a misaligned die, which means the design didn't properly line up when the coin was pressed. This error causes the image on the coin to appear off-center, giving it a very distinct, almost mistaken appearance. However, collectors go wild for these errors because they're unique, one-of-a-kind pieces. When these misaligned quarters are in excellent condition, they can fetch prices in the six-figure range, sometimes even higher. So, why are minting errors so significant? Let's talk about it for a minute. Mint errors are what make coins truly rare and valuable. While the US Mint produces billions of coins each year, a small fraction of them are struck with imperfections or errors that make them stand out. These coins are prized by collectors because they're not something you can easily find. For example, with the 1993 D Washington quarter, the misaligned die error makes the coin visually striking, giving it an edge over other quarters from the same year. It's the kind of error that collectors dream about, and it's the primary reason why the 1993 D quarter is worth an eye-watering $1.7 million. Now, here's something crucial you need to know. Condition is everything when it comes to rare coins. Even if you've found a 1993 D Washington quarter with a misaligned die, its condition plays a massive role in determining its worth. A coin in mint condition with no visible wear or damage will always fetch a higher price than one with scratches, dings, or signs of handling. The highest prices are paid for coins that have been professionally graded by organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service, or PCGS. Coins that grade out as mint state 67 or higher, meaning they have virtually no signs of wear, are the ones that can approach or exceed $1.7 million. So, if you're looking to cash in on a rare find, make sure to have your coin properly graded. Now that you know how valuable a 1993 D Washington quarter can be, you might be wondering, where can I find one of these rare coins? Well, they're out there, but it's not exactly easy to find one in the wild. Many collectors have spent years scouring rolls of quarters and coin banks looking for errors like this. If you happen to find a 1993 D quarter that looks a little off-center, be sure to give it a close inspection. A great way to search for these types of coins is to check through bank rolls. Banks typically get fresh coinage from the Federal Reserve, and those rolls could contain misaligned die coins. But remember, you won't always get lucky. Most of the time, these errors are very subtle, so you'll need to carefully examine your quarters. If you don't want to go through coin rolls, another great way to find rare coins is by attending coin shows or auctions. These events bring together collectors and dealers, and it's where many rare and valuable coins change hands. You can also look online at places like eBay, but be sure to do your research before purchasing. Watch out for fakes or misrepresented coins. To wrap it up, the 1993 D Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin is one of those rare treasures that could change your life, with a potential value of $1.7 million. But finding one in pristine condition with a minting error requires patience, attention to detail, and sometimes a bit of luck. If you've got one of these coins or plan on searching for one, make sure to get it graded by a professional and hold onto it tight. It might just be worth more than you ever imagined. 1994 D Washington $quarter, valued at a staggering $1.4 million. So, grab your magnifying glass, because we're about to take a closer look at why this coin is worth so much and how you might have one of these $1 million quarters sitting in your collection or even in your pocket right now. Let's jump into it. Before we talk about why the 1994 D Washington quarter is worth $1.4 million, let's take a quick stroll down memory lane. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. The original design was created by John Flanagan, featuring Washington on the front and an eagle on the reverse. This design has become iconic, and the quarter has been a staple of American currency for nearly a century. Over the years, the Washington quarter has seen several changes, but the coin remains a favorite among collectors and enthusiasts alike. Fast forward to 1994, when the coin was still being minted with the D Mint mark, denoting that it was struck at the Denver Mint. At first glance, it may seem like any other quarter, but it's what lies beneath the surface that can make it incredibly valuable. So, what makes the 1994 D Washington quarter worth such an impressive amount? Well, a few factors come into play. First, let's talk about rarity. Most 1994 Washington quarters are still in circulation today, and they're worth their face value of 25 cents. However, certain conditions make this coin extraordinarily rare. Specifically, a very small number of these quarters were struck with a significant minting error, which drastically increased their value. This error created a variety of the coin that would later become a collector's dream. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The 1994 Washington quarter that's valued at $1.4 million is a double die reverse variety, meaning that it features a rare error where the design on the reverse side of the coin was struck twice. This mistake results in a visible doubling effect on the letters and features of the coin. When looking at the coin under magnification, you can clearly see this doubling on elements like E Pluribus Unum and the United States of America inscription. As you can see, the doubling effect on the lettering is subtle but noticeable. It's this type of error that sends collectors into a frenzy. These double die errors happen during the minting process, and when they're caught, they're quickly removed from circulation. But because some manage to slip through the cracks, they become extremely rare and incredibly valuable. So how do you identify a 1994 Washington quarter with the double die reverse error? Well, it's all about paying attention to detail and using the right tools. First, grab yourself a good magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. You'll want to closely inspect the reverse side of the coin, particularly around the lettering. Look for any signs of doubling in the words E Pluribus Unum, United States of America, and quarter dollar. The doubling will appear as a slight shadow or extra outline next to the primary letters. This is what distinguishes it from a regular 1994 quarter. Keep in mind that the error is not always immediately obvious to the naked eye, which is why these coins are sometimes overlooked by casual collectors. But once you know what to look for, it becomes much easier to spot. Now you might be wondering, how much can I actually get for one of these double die reverse quarters? Well, the value is influenced by several factors. First, the condition of the coin plays a huge role. The 1994 double die reverse quarters that have sold for as much as $1.4 million are in almost perfect condition, often graded as MS68 or higher. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. So, if you find one of these coins in near perfect condition, don't just spend it. Get it graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Aside from condition, the rarity of the coin and its demand in the marketplace are what drive up the price. Collectors are constantly on the lookout for these rare errors, and with fewer of them available for purchase, the price keeps climbing. The coin's appeal lies in its uniqueness, and the fact that it's such an anomaly within the vast number of 1994 quarters that were minted. Now, I know you're probably wondering where you can find one of these rare 1994 Washington quarters. While most of them are likely still in circulation or sitting in people's coin collections, your best bet is to check your pocket change, visit local coin shops, or even scour online auction sites like eBay. Remember, if you do happen to find one, make sure you have it properly evaluated before selling it. A simple mistake could cost you a small fortune. So, there you have it. The 1994 Washington quarter with a double die reverse error is one of the rarest and most valuable coins out there, with a potential value of up to $1.4 million. It's proof that a small mistake during the minting process can lead to an extraordinary payoff for lucky collectors. If you think you've got one, don't hesitate to get it checked out. You might be sitting on a small fortune. 1995 Washington quarter dollar coin. That's right. This quarter, minted in Denver in 1995, has an incredible value of up to $1.8 million. You heard that right, $1.8 million. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this coin is so valuable and how you can spot one in your collection. Before we dive into the details, I want you to ask yourself, do you have a 1995 Washington quarter dollar coin sitting around? If you do, it could be worth a small fortune. If you don't worry. I'm going to walk you through exactly what makes this coin special, how it came to be worth millions, and the secrets you need to know to identify a rare one. Let's start with a bit of background on the Washington quarter itself. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the first President of the United States, George Washington. The coin quickly became a symbol of American pride, and it's still in circulation today. Now, most of the Washington quarters you'll encounter are not worth a ton of money. In fact, most are worth face value, just 25 cents. But here's where it gets interesting. In 1995, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Washington quarters with the D Mint mark, indicating they were minted in Denver. So, if you've got a 1995 D in your change jar, it's probably not worth much, right? Well, not so fast. While most 1995 D Washington quarters are fairly common, one specific type has caught the eye of collectors, and that's the key to its incredible value. The mystery lies in a rare error found on a very small number of 1995 D quarters, the doubled die obverse. This is a major misprint, where the coin was struck twice in the same position, causing the design to appear doubled. Now you might be wondering, what does a doubled design look like? Well, it's most visible on the lettering and the date. If you look closely, you'll see that the letters Liberty or the date 1995 appear to be slightly doubled. This error is subtle, but if you know what to look for, you'll be able to spot it in seconds. So, why is a 1995 D Washington quarter with this error worth up to $1.8 million? Well, rarity is the key. As I mentioned earlier, the error is pretty rare, and only a few examples have been discovered in circulation. These coins are considered a treasure among collectors because of their scarcity. Collectors are always on the lookout for these kinds of errors, and when they find them, the demand drives the price up, sometimes into the millions. Imagine finding a coin in your pocket change that's worth a fortune. That's why it's so important to know exactly what you're looking for. Alright, let's break down how you can spot the 1995 D Washington quarter with the double die obverse error. First, you'll want to look for the doubling on the letters of Liberty, and In God We Trust. It's usually noticeable as a split in the lettering. Second, check the date. The 1995 will often appear thick and doubled, and if you've got a keen eye, you'll spot it without much trouble. Finally, keep an eye out for the overall condition of the coin. Coins in excellent condition, especially those with minimal wear, are more likely to be worth a significant amount. Coins with high grades can command prices in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, while those in mint state or near mint condition could reach the $1.8 million mark. If you've found a 1995 D quarter with the double die obverse error, you might be wondering how to get it appraised or sold. The first step is to have it evaluated by a professional coin grader. Organizations like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, are experts in grading coins and will provide a certification of authenticity. Once graded, you can sell your coin through major auction houses or to collectors who specialize in error coins. Keep in mind that while $1.8 million is the estimated value of the most prized examples, the price can vary depending on the condition, rarity, and demand. Let's talk about real-life examples to put things in perspective. In recent years, rare error coins like the 1995 D Washington quarter with a double die obverse have been sold at auction for staggering prices. For example, a similar 1995 D double die obverse quarter fetched close to $1.8 million at a famous auction, making it one of the most valuable quarters ever sold. So, there you have it. The 1995 D Washington quarter dollar coin might not look like much at first glance, but if you've got a double die obverse error on your hands, you could be looking at one of the most valuable coins in the world. If you think you've found one, don't just spend it. Have it professionally evaluated to make sure you're not sitting on a gold mine. And remember, always keep an eye out for rare coins when you're out shopping or looking through your spare change. 1995 P Washington quarter dollar, valued at an incredible $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right, a quarter worth a small fortune. So, if you're a coin collector or you just love learning about the rarest finds out there, you're in for a treat. Let's start with the basics. The 1995 P Washington quarter is part of the U.S. Mint's regular series of quarters, featuring the iconic portrait of George Washington. However, this particular coin, with the P Mint mark, is far from ordinary. The P stands for the Philadelphia Mint, where this coin was struck. But while most 1995 P quarters aren't worth more than face value, there's a very special version of this coin that has left collectors in awe. If you come across one of these, it might just be your ticket to $1 million payday. So, what exactly makes this 1995 P Washington quarter worth $1.8 million? It all boils down to a rare, yet incredible mistake made during the minting process, what we call a minting error. This specific quarter is known as a double die obverse variety. Now, let me explain that a bit more. A double die obverse occurs when the design of the coin is unintentionally struck more than once, causing parts of the image to appear doubled. In this case, the doubling happened on George Washington's portrait, especially around his jawline, the word Liberty, and the date 1995. This error is incredibly rare, and it's this subtle flaw that drives the value of the coin up into the millions. Collectors absolutely love these kinds of errors, because they add a unique aspect to the coin that can't be replicated. It's like finding a flawless diamond, it's that rare. Now you might be wondering, how can I tell if I've found this rare coin? Great question. Identifying the 1995 P double die obverse Washington quarter requires a keen eye. First, examine the obverse side, the front of the coin. Pay close attention to the date, 1995, and the word Liberty above Washington's head. On a typical coin, these features are clear and sharp, but on a double die, you'll notice that they appear to be doubled or shifted, especially in the lettering. Another telltale sign is the area around Washington's neck and jawline. A second image of his jawline or neck may appear faintly, which is another indicator of the doubling error. Sometimes the doubling is subtle, so you'll need to use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to spot the differences. But if you're lucky enough to find this error, you could be looking at a coin worth a fortune. Now let's get to the good stuff, the value. If you've got a 1995 P Washington quarter with this error, it could be worth anywhere from hundreds of dollars up to a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yes, million! The value of the coin depends on its condition, rarity, and how obvious the doubling is. Coins in mint condition with a clear doubling error fetch the highest prices. For example, coins graded in mint state, like MS65 or higher, can bring in anywhere from $5,000 to $100,000 or more. But the ones that really blow the roof off are the ones that are in pristine condition and have been authenticated by a reputable grading service, like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. When these coins go to auction, they've been known to sell for $1.8 million. So, where can you find one of these valuable quarters? Well, like most rare coins, they aren't something you'll find every day at your local coin shop or in your pocket change. But it's worth keeping an eye out, especially if you're searching through collections or browsing online auction sites like eBay or Heritage Auctions. You might also find them in estate sales, garage sales, or coin shows, where some of the most valuable coins hide in plain sight. If you're ever unsure, always consult a professional grader who can assess the coin's authenticity and determine its potential value. To wrap it up, the 1995 P Washington quarter dollar with a double die obverse is a true treasure, and if you're lucky enough to find one, you might just hit the jackpot. Remember, rarity, condition, and authentication are key factors in determining its value. If you think you've found one, don't hesitate to get it evaluated, it could be worth millions.